I never really doubted it, so I think the entire time was kind of like confirmation for me. I even sort of enjoyed some of the essays that were like kept me up at night and were, had me in the library till 3 a.m. I still actually enjoyed doing that. So I think to be able to sort of be passionate about the thing that you're studying.
I think I don't want to speak for all students, but I think a lot of people on their course around the midpoint start to get halfway blues. You start to wonder, did I make the right choice? You're sort of committed now, but you're not quite finished. So people start to worry about, am I doing the right thing? Even if they're, enjoying it and it's going well, it's only natural to wonder that sort of thing. And that was definitely me in second year, coming up to third year. I was thinking about what to do next, and obviously, when you start looking at what you can do, you also start thinking about what you can't do. Um, so I was really sort of in that mind space going into third year. But then I really enjoyed third year, and then obviously you have your research project that you do as part of third year, where you basically do a research study. And I remember it was that particular point where I started to engage in research myself that I really started to enjoy it. And I suppose the high point is, so when that was all out of the way and submitted, I remember getting an email from my supervisor at the time that to me seemed quite ominous because I was already done and submitted. And then I got an email saying, Tom, can you come into the office? We need to chat about this. So in my head, I'm like, oh no, it's I've obviously failed or something. So I go in really nervously, like being called into the headmaster's office and sit down, thinking that I'm about to be told that it was really bad. And they said, he said, Tom, this is a really good piece of work. I think you could pursue this further, and we could perhaps publish it, and you could go in and do this as a PhD. And so obviously that's a complete change of expectations. But for me, that's when it went. That was obviously a real high point for me, and it went from I'm just doing an assignment to pass the course to I'm doing this now because I really enjoy it, and you start to take ownership and feel proud of the work that you're producing rather than it just being a means to an end.
I would say, you know, I think working with animals is definitely rewarding, but it also is tough. Sometimes you go to places that are tough. Um, a lot of my work is with wildlife, and so that's hiking up big mountains out in a rainforest where you're sweating buckets of water, and you're so it's not necessarily for the faint of heart, I would say. That's perfect for me. I love that sort of thing. So it's a way to get outdoors. Also with animals, it's the, you kind of, when you study animals, you do it in their terms because they're not always interested in what you're trying to do, right? So you have to kind of just let them do naturally what they want to do, and so a lot of times if you're trying to observe their behavior, they might um, just not be in the best, right angle for you to make your observations, and so you have to figure out the logistics around that. When I worked in Africa with gorillas, a lot of time, you get these beautiful documentaries of David Attenborough sitting next to a gorilla, and that was a lot of the work I was doing. But what the public doesn't realize is most of that time was actually spent me sitting there while gorillas spent 4 hours sleeping in a bush. So there's a lot of downtime as well, and it's not all uh, big discoveries and fast-paced action. But I'm okay with that because those little nuggets of when you get those discoveries and see things that you realize no one else in the world has ever seen makes it rewarding. So, Ellie, how about you? At what point did you realize during your studies here that this was right for you?
Um, I don't want to give a boring answer to this, but I never really doubted it. So I think the entire time was kind of like confirmation for me. I even sort of enjoyed some of the essays that were like kept me up at night and were, had me in the library till 3 a.m. I still actually enjoyed doing that. So I think to be able to sort of be passionate about the thing that you're studying, you know, I work in recruitment where I'm sort of talking to prospective students about the thing that they're going to study. And the main thing that I advise people is that you need to choose something you're passionate about, because it's going to be a really sort of tough 3 years otherwise. Um, so there wasn't really like a single moment that I could
Mm.
pick out. It was just the entire 3 years that I was able to enjoy. Um, Maybe sort of after I graduated, like I said earlier, when I did the internship and being able to sort of put everything into practice, and it all sort of, you know, worked out and clicked then for me. But yeah, there wasn't really like a single moment that I could choose. So
That's interesting you make that connection. I think, one of the best pieces of advice I ever was given, was, find out what you're interested in and then figure a way to get paid to do it. Very simple advice, very practical. And, stemming from what you were saying, one of the things that gets you through the tough times when you study is that just drive and passion for your topic that will pull you through those, tough times, because it's interesting to you,
yeah,
and that keeps you hanging on. Another, motivator is you need to do it because you've got something on the other end, like a job that you want, to get out of it, and that's, definitely a good strategy to find that out
definitely.
before you enter university.